Thanks a lot for joining us, everyone. You're watching us live on the CNN News 18 platforms all across on Twitter, Facebook, and others. You can join us right now. I'm joined by none other than founder Janki Bhat. Pradeep Bhandari is joining us. He's one of the most popular psephologist faces on Indian television. First up, I want to begin by asking you, Pradeep, you've seen what the reaction of the opposition parties to exit polls has been, right? They've come out and said that these are basically Narendra Modi polls. That Narendra Modi has called you all and basically guided you in how to get these numbers right for him and for his party. So are these polls manipulated? Are exit polls, just generally speaking, this is not about you per se or any particular poll or these elections, are exit polls manipulated is a question that basically the opposition India Alliance has posted, and they've created a doubt in the minds of the public, or have sought to create a doubt in the minds of the public, that these numbers should not be believed. Your take as a psychologist first up on that.
Shivani, you are a very, very experienced journalist, and thank you so much for having me on on Network 18. See, Shivani, let's understand why when do political parties intend or try to say influence the election when they get any advantage or benefit from it. Now, an exit poll
Hmm.
happens after the voting has completed for all the phases of the election. So after every vote, that is 66 crore eligible voters, say 95 crore eligible voters, out of which roughly 66 crore have voted, all the voters have voted, the voting process has completed. After that, an exit poll takes place. So, even if the exit poll favors the party A or B, it will not impact the outcome of the election because already the outcome of the election is registered in the EVM. So, to say that an exit poll will influence the election, I believe, is very, very immature and naive because all the votes have already been casted. Now, coming to the
No, I
point
think
that
their
do
suspicion
politics.
is no. I think their allegation is, which they're not saying it openly, but some are saying it openly, is that these exit polls sets the platform for EVM rigging, for results rigging. So the exit polls will show a certain direction and 300 par or 350 par or 400 par for the BJP or the NDA, and then the rigging of the EVMs will happen by the party in power to show exactly those results, but those results get legitimacy because these exit polls are predicted in 2 3 days before that.
Shivani, let's go a bit back in history when the election commission had asked all the political parties to come and hack the EVM. If you very well remember, this allegation
Yes.
has been raised repeatedly. Not a single political party could come forward to. I do, and in fact, Shivani, we are talking about not one or two EVM. We are talking about more than 50 devices, 50,000 devices. So, are you telling me that in 543 constituencies of this country, where the average voters are more than 4 and a half to 5 lakh on an average, in fact, more than 10 lakh voters on an average in a constituency, are you telling me that an exit poll will rig voters to such a proportion that 5 to 6 lakh voters in each constituency, which is like 66 crore people, will get affected? This is, too far fetched. Now, my point is that the India Alliance has always been saying that it is getting 295 seats. And if you are getting 295 seats, then you do not need to shoot either the EVMs or blame the election commission or blame the exit polls. So I do believe that somehow deep down inside the Indian opposition parties who are alleging that the exit polls are manipulated are understanding that maybe these are on the right direction and they are looking for somebody to blame for their
Mm.
imminent loss, which could happen tomorrow on June 4th. Because a winner will never
Mm.
behave in this manner. Now, coming to the point of yes, I am completely open for in fact, I am vouching that every methodology, and you've been tracking me. We've been speaking on Indian television for the last many years, and I do go constituency wise. So
Seven
if
years to be
the intent,
precise.
yes, 7 years to be precise. So I am all open for transparency. I'm completely open
Mm.
for the
Okay.
methodology to
So
be discussed.
explain your methodology. I obviously cannot ask you to vouch for anybody else. For the benefit
Yes.
of our viewers, give us your top numbers, which is the BJP, LDA, the Congress, India Alliance numbers nationally, and give me your methodology and why you feel your numbers are going to be bang on.
Yes. So just before that, Shivani, I'll also remind your viewers that in Telangana, when the Telangana Assembly election results were announced, before that the exit polls had come, our exit poll
Mm.
also had predicted that the Congress party will win a complete full majority government. At that time, the then Telangana Chief Minister designate had come out openly on television channels, including your channel, that he welcomes the exit polls and he would advise his workers not to be too excited and be at the polling booth. Now that is a historical fact. And this is not something 10 years back. This is just less than 6 months back. Now, see, on the methodology part, Shivani, I go constituency wise, which means that I have a team of around 540 field investigators and 70 data researchers. And these basically map every constituency based on proportionate and representative sampling. So, which means that if in a constituency X, there are, roughly X number of people from a caste A and Y number of people from a caste B, we intend to take a representative samples, which is demographically as well as caste-wise representative of that respective geography. Now, I myself travel on the ground, and I've traveled 400 Lok Sabha constituencies. In this elections, I've traveled 15 states on my own. So I do not do a call center where we set up a call center and just do a tele-based approach. We do an in-person approach where talking to people. So the margin of error is less. You show the right trend. The trend which I am showing, Shivani, the headline which I am trying, my poll is saying that Narendra Modi is coming with a bigger, higher, and a stronger mandate. The BJP is getting more seats than what it got last time, and the vote share of the Bharatiya Janata Party is more than what it got last time. I remember in 2019 election also, when we had predicted a higher mandate, we were vilified for 3.5 months, because at that time we had released an opinion poll. This time we did not release an opinion poll. At that time we had also released an opinion poll. So this is understandable for political parties to disagree with it. See, you can professionally be right or wrong, but to question that the poll is influenced without any tangible proof is also I would say an upman of the many professionals who work on the ground, many of which are youngsters. And at the same time, all these political parties in the opposition, Shivani, contact surveyors, psephologists, analysts, strategists after every phase and before every election to do multiple surveys. So it is not that they are immune to political surveys. They do this exercise, in fact, in a much more detailed manner than what you see in a television channel. They will go booth wise, they will go constituency wise, demography wise. They go insanely micro. So I do believe that this is just a political, this is a political narrative that they're trying to build. Because if you remember that the 150 DM part that Jairam Rameshji spoke about, the election commission asked for the name of two DMs, and I think 7 p.m. deadline has crossed, and he's not been able to give this the name of even two DMs. So it is understandable, and I only believe that it's a political rhetoric, nothing substance and meat in it.
So just to, for the benefit of our viewers, just to encapsulate the Jan Ki Baat exit polls, Lok Sabha elections 2024 gives 377 plus minus 15 to the NDA. So that's anywhere in the range of 350 to 390.
So, so just,
India Alliance,
yes,
India
yes,
Alliance
yes,
151 plus minus 10. NDA vote share 50% plus 1 from last time. India Alliance vote share 35% plus 1 from last time, and others also is plus one from last time. So how is everybody gaining?
no, there is a plus minus one, Shivani. It's a deviation of one
Okay,
percentage.
plus
So
one. Okay.
yes, yes,
And seats for the BJP 327 plus minus 15, INC 52 plus minus 10. So they could be stuck at the last elections mark. Vote
yes.
share of the BJP 42 plus minus 1, INC 18% plus minus 1. Um, the opposition says they're going to get 295. What do you make of that claim?
I believe that, Shivani, honestly, if they were getting to 95, their reactions would not have been what we've seen in the last 48 hours. You're a very, very experienced journalist. And if you read between the lines, if you ask me, they are trying to morally delegitimize the process or claim a moral victory, basically. Now, I also say, and this is my open challenge, Shivani, that if all the members of the India Alliance can come on a stage and even commonly declare the name of not even 295 seats, 29, common seats that they are winning, all their surveys would be showing different seats that they are winning. So if they believe that they are winning 295 seats, they should put it on in public domain. These are the 295 seats that we are winning, and the election survey or all of exit polls are saying wrong. They will not do that. So I just feel that Rahul Gandhi released that number of 295 to the media. After that, everybody was told to say the same number. And
No, actually, it was,
in
I
fact,
think,
Congress.
Mr. Kharge who said 295. I think the day prior in a press conference when the India Alliance had met on June 1st. on the
So
last
basically,
day
they have
of the
increased the
polling.
so what they are saying is, Shivani, that they have increased the BJP count from 150, 180 to more than 200. Because if they're saying 295, because pre-election Rahul Gandhi was saying 150, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra
Hmm.
was saying 180, and another opposition leader was saying 200. So there are 543
Hmm.
constituencies in this country. So even if I subtract 543 from 295, I do believe that Rahul Gandhi himself is not sticking to the number that he had given to BJP before the elections. So
Tell
what
me,
I'm saying, all of this is not adding up.
tell me, Pradeep Bhandari, did Narendra Modi call you, or the PMO call you, or the BJP call you to rig your poll? That's the
No, I
allegation.
absolutely. You can't rig the poll. And come on, the
You're
prime minister has
laughing.
better things to do. Prime minister, honestly, the prime minister of this country has much more important things to do than to call pollsters and asking them what their numbers are after the election.
No, but isn't it a coincidence that the Prime Minister says up ki baar 400 par and magically at least a couple of polls are giving the BJP or the NDA 400 par?
So I cannot know, vouch for their numbers, but I'll give you an example. Hypothetically, there have been times when, say, in Bengal elections 2021, when
Hmm.
the Bharatiya Janata Party was claiming a complete full majority, which was there, right? Then there have
Hmm.
been times where the Congress party has been claimed. So every party claims. Now the party which is winning will say that it is coming to near to our akra. If you remember I'll give you an example. If you remember in Uttar Pradesh, there were claims that the BJP will cross 300. The BJP landed up at 272. So there were some polls which was
Hmm.
giving BJP 300 plus. We were giving them between 250 to 70. So at this
Hmm.
moment, if I do believe that we released our numbers at 7 p.m. On the last day of voting, and we are seeing this as I am seeing this as a wave election where 50% of the electorate is voting one way for the prime minister and the other electorate is split. So now the quantity of weight can differ from one to other, even if it's a 390, 400, 380. What it in essence signifies is that the BJP and NDA is coming with a bigger mandate than last time,
Right.
with a bigger vote share than last time. So
So
whenever
you
an
talked
election
about a
goes on an
wave
upswing,
election.
Shivani, just 5 seconds, whenever an election goes on an upswing, it generally ends up crossing the range, and whenever there is a downswing, it ends up going below the range. So you have to just
Hmm.
make it a point if it's an upswing or a downswing election. I do see it as an upswing election.
No, interestingly, a lot of people are talking about this being a wave election because of the exit poll numbers, but nobody was seeing it as a wave election while the phases were going on or while the election was going on.
Uh,
So, why do you think the wave was not so pronounced?
Shivani, in fact, I wrote a book called Modi 3.0 Bigger, Higher,
Yes.
and Stronger. And this was released before the first day of voting. In fact, much when the elections were announced. So I have
Hmm.
always been seeing this as a wave election. And my
Hmm.
stand has been consistent in the last 3 months, in the last 90 days. So there have maybe the other pollsters, could see the wave on the last day of voting or during the time of elections, but I have maintained that it's a wave election. Now, waves generally, Shivani, are not waves where you will see people coming on the ground and shouting Modi, Modi, Modi. That is not the scenario. Modi is not a leader who's just arrived. He's a leader who's already governed for 10 years. And I can tell you
Hmm.
this with confidence that if a leader who has governed for 10 years and if he's been able to do work on the ground, then the voter is silent. The voter will go to the polling booth and vote. And if you see that every election till now, Shivani, has been an election where the Indian voter has not given a confused verdict. Look at Uttar Pradesh 2022, look at Delhi elections 2020, look at Bengal elections 2021, look at any election where either the opposition party has won or the BJP has won. It has always been one way verdict. Confused verdicts are
Hmm.
not given. So, and
Hmm.
I was very clear since the day one, because whenever I used to speak to the women, 70% in the rural areas used to say Modi because of welfare, and 65% in
Hmm.
the urban areas used to say Modi because of urban aspirations. So imagine that there are 10 voters, and five are women and
Hmm.
five are men. Now, even in five men, imagine three go towards the opposition side in a scenario of anti incumbency, but four women are voting for you. So, in net, you are at a more than you are eventually winning that seat. So, yes, the lead margins can come down, but I have
Hmm.
always seen this as a wave election, in fact, a bigger wave than last time because the geographical base of BJP has increased, Shivani. The one data point I will give you, Narendra Modi won 90% of the seats from 60% of the geography in 2014. That geographical base in 2019 increased further, and now it is increasing further. So BJP is stronger in Bengal than 2019, stronger in Odisha than 2019, stronger in Telangana than 2019, and it is not getting weaker in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, because on the other side there is no credible leader which has been declared who can reduce the base of the BJP. So one
Yes,
thing is of
right,
having an anti-incumbency, and the other thing is of converting the anti-incumbency into an anti-vote.
indeed,
So that is not
into a
happening.
vote. Absolutely. In fact, we have final 3 minutes left. For the benefit of our viewers, you can go to my Twitter handle as well. And I've mentioned exactly this. One of the points, I've listed out my understanding of the general elections from what I got the sense on ground, Pradeep. Not as extensive as yours, certainly, but the limited experience that I had on ground in 3 to 4 states. One of the points I've mentioned in that thread, my takeaways from the election is that the single biggest failure of the opposition was not being able to convince the voter that they are a viable alternative. And that's because in no state where the opposition governs or any member of the India Alliance governs, do they have a credible model to present and say, see, this is what we did in this state, and give us a chance and we can replicate this at the national level. One, they've got inherent problems in the India Alliance itself. They're not always on the same page. And secondly, they're not looked at as an alternative for the BJP, even if people have issues on ground with their day-to-day life, with their long-term life prospects, etc. What was your single biggest takeaway, Pradeep, as far as the voters' mind and perception is concerned in these elections?
Shivani, I think you put it very, very well. And let me add on to it. See, for me, Shivani, this entire election has been driven by the M factor, which is the Mahila
Mm,
factor. And the women
mm,
on the ground in the rural areas across any geographical base have seen work happening on the ground. Have looked at Narendra Modi as a leader who has stood with them in their family during hardship, that was COVID time, and has improved their dignity of living. And it's a basic thumb rule which I have seen in my travel in the last 9 years, that if a politician, irrespective of ideology, is able to improve the life of a common man on the ground, particularly in the rural areas, in the lower socioeconomic background, then the public rewards. And that is point number one. Number two is the aspirational quotient, Shivani, which is what I've seen in the urban areas with India's global prestige moving so higher.
mm.
People believe that, at least with Modi there, the country is safe and secure. So that is a very important point. Now, the issues which have gone anti, as you rightly said, and that the model has not been presented, that even if someone is unhappy, even in a family, Shivani, everybody will not be happy with each family member for 365 days a year. You will have quote
Mm,
unquote manmuta. But for you to shift and lead towards a political divorce, it requires an alternative. So even say
yes,
Mehengai and unemployment, if there are issues, people on the ground did not have any model, as you rightly said, where they or a leader who could, address those issues and convert that into votes. And I will give you a data point, Shivani, that since 2011, there has not been a single state government that the Congress party has
yes,
been able to repeat. So 180 seats where the BJP and the Congress are going head to head, if the BJP ends up winning 85% of those, and the BJP being an ever expanding party, which means, Shivani, I'll give you an example. If you remember in 2019, the BJP was hardly present in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, in Telangana, and Bengal. It was the number two party. In Odisha also, it was the number two party. But the BJP, particularly the Narendra Modi, worked in the same intent in these states as you compare it with Uttar Pradesh. Whereas if the Congress party lost in Uttar Pradesh, that is this Paramparagat seat of Amethi, Rahul Gandhi ji did not visit that seat in a frequent interval. He visited the seat in an interval of 840 days, and then again in an interval of 800 days. So
mm,
people look
mm,
at intent. People are not expecting politicians to deliver 10 out of 10 things. So generally, I've
yes.
seen with strong leaders that strong leaders are not defeated by the opposition. The strong leaders end up being defeated by their own mistake. And at this moment, there is no big mistake that Narendra Modi has done, where the people will completely shift their vote from Narendra Modi to an opposition
To
which
the
has
other
not
side.
declared a credible leader.
Okay, 30 seconds, Pradeep. You mentioned Rahul Gandhi. So let me ask, is he winning from Raebareli or not winning?
According to me, he is.
He is. Okay, all right. Pradeep has to go. Pradeep, thanks a lot for your time. We'll try and do another chat with Pradeep Bhandari post results on June 4th, and then you can hold him for his numbers as well. and we'll
Absolutely,
evaluate a
yes.
certain few key constituencies as well with Pradeep Bhandari and more.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot,
much.
Pradeep, for joining us, and a big thanks to our viewers for watching.
Thank you so much for having me, Shivani.